In today's podcast, we'll be looking at collaboration. Now, collaboration is one of the 21st century classroom skills, and it's important for teachers to understand that we need to transform the learning environment in our classrooms to better align with students today, and in particular, what businesses want our students to be able to accomplish when they move out of school and into the workforce. Now, the framework that we're building upon here that can be found at the Partnership for 21st Century Skills is the collaboration tool. Now, this is one of the 4 bullets, or one of the 4 C's that exist under 21st century learning. Collaboration is a tool where we work together to reach a common goal. We will also be looking at communication, creativity, and critical thinking in future podcasts. But for this particular training session, we're going to focus on collaboration, which is simply the act of working with someone to produce or create something. That's very important that students are able to work in collaborative teams to articulate their learning. We need to move away from worksheets where students work on their own, writing down their answers that the teachers then take and grade against an answer key. But rather, we need to create opportunities for students to work together to create products and projects that convey their learning to the teacher and to the world. It's important to remember that as we move into this, this is not just one more thing to do. What we're asking teachers to do is to change what they're already doing, to think differently about how they pull off their curriculum in their classrooms. And so, with that being said, we're going to look at how we create opportunities for collaboration. We'll look at 2 particular tools that are very helpful in this. One is the wiki, the other is the interactive whiteboard. We'll also be making connections to Common Core, to differentiated instruction, and to literacy skills. So, how do we create opportunities for students to have experiences through activities where they can collaborate with other students, other teachers, and the world? The first tool that we want to explore is the wiki. Now, wiki comes from a Hawaiian phrase which means super fast, and it's just a way to create a website very quickly from multiple authors located all over the internet. Some people believe wiki is an acronym for what I know is, and although it's technically not, it's a great way to think of it, because a wiki is something that you can create. You can create it with any content that you find on the internet, and create it with information pointed toward a specific topic or subject. Now, Wikipedia is probably the best example of a global collaboration wiki. On the upside, Wikipedia has millions of articles and is visited billions of times each month. And it's becoming one of the most comprehensive sources of information on the internet. Now, that being said, it's not censored. And so there may be objectionable, offensive, or even inaccurate information there. But what's important to understand is that Wikipedia is authored by everybody, by university professors, by classrooms of students around the world, and by people like you and me. Anyone who has specific content knowledge can log into Wikipedia and can add information. Now, there are rules for Wikipedia. We tend to be more neutral in tone, and we look at topics that have significant or reliable sources of information. We view this as technical writing as opposed to literary writing. So when students and authors update Wikipedia, what they're doing is they're articulating facts. They're not promoting, it's not opinion-based, it's not a campaign, but it's a way for us to convey information that we know about something on a place on the internet where other people can bang against that and change inaccuracies as they occur. Now, there are lots of ways to wiki. Obviously here for Coal City School District, we offer wiki servers for our staff. But most people tend to wiki out on free websites like Wikispaces, Zoho Wiki, and my favorite, Google Sites. Remember, it's about content. Wikis let you have multiple authors publish in real time, editing quickly, and providing links to other sources of information on the internet. Wikis contain text, graphics, videos, and podcasts. But probably the most important thing that they contain are links to other websites. Now, if you were to come to our wiki, x1.coalcity.k12.il.us, staff can log in there and they can create their very own wiki using the very simple tool interface that we trained with 2 years ago now when you all first received your MacBooks. Google Sites is also another place that you can go to sites.google.com and simply hit the Create button and create an entire website using the tools that Google provides for us absolutely free. Now, if you need more information on how to build a Google site, you can go to http://bit.ly/ccgcreds. That's CCG creds. That link is located on the slide. But this will give you a step-by-step how to build a Google site. So, the technical piece aside of how to build a wiki, the students will figure out. For you as a teacher, you need to think, how can we use a wiki in the classroom? Maybe I'll have all the students add content to a topical wiki, or I'll have student teams build a subject-specific wiki. Or we'll build a classroom wiki that other students or classrooms or people out there in the world could contribute to. The next tool that we want to discuss is the whiteboard. Whiteboards are apps or websites that allow multiple users to interact simultaneously in a space in real time. As I said, most of these can be accessed through a browser or through an app on your Android or iOS device. Now, one of my favorites is Twidla.com. Twidla is free. It works on Windows, Mac, and Chromebook. It also works on the iPad and on any Android tablet. If you go to Twidla.com and simply click the green Go button, it creates for you this workspace where everybody who joins in the same room can use the tools that are there to draw on the board, to look at documents or images or web pages all together. So what I would do as the teacher is I would give my students the URL, which is listed twidla.com/945443. They would go to that website on their devices and they would be able to join in my session. On the iPad, there are lots of apps that do this, and most of them are for free. Educreations and Show.me are great whiteboard apps for the iPad. What I really like about those is that you can record the whole whiteboard session and then export the movie out to YouTube as a podcast for later. Jot is also a free tool that lets you whiteboard on multiple iPads at the same time and then share them out on the internet for people to look at later. So how could you use a whiteboard in your classroom? Some of the best ways to do this are letting your students work as teams to demonstrate certain things that they want to share with everyone in the class. For example, I saw a great second grade lesson where students were working on arrays. They would draw an array and then write sentences for repetitive addition to eventually build to the concept of multiplication. A whiteboard is simply a space where multiple people are connecting in real time to some space on the internet that they can all edit over and annotate together. Now, the connections here to Common Core don't go away. It's important to understand that the wiki and the whiteboard tool are both ends to a means, or means to an end, I guess. You want to be able to connect and deliver your curriculum in such a way that they can utilize these tools to communicate back to you as the teacher that they've acquired the information that they need to. These are also great tools for differentiated instruction. So if you're differentiating by process or by product, by student ability or student choice, it gives your students the ability to do something different as opposed to just writing a 500-word essay on whatever the topic of the day is or completing a worksheet that you're going to later have to grade. It lets them work together in a medium that's web-based so that they can share their learning with you as an instructor and with the global community. Obviously, we're also talking about literacy here. Anytime that you're writing you are promoting literacy. And we all know from the ELA Common Core Standards that being able to have digital literacy is even more important in today's technological age. So the challenge is to create at least one opportunity to have students in your classrooms collaborate. It could be internal to the classroom or external to the classroom. We've asked teachers to come to our Google Exit slip and put in their ideas for how they could use whiteboards and wikis to accomplish these goals. For our whole professional development cycle, we give about a 2-week window for teachers to plug in their new learning. And then those teachers will fall back to professional learning communities at their building levels, where they can talk more about their experiences and reflect on the positives and the negatives of implementing these 21st century skills into the classroom. They then meet with their building principals to share their ideas and to look for what other training they need to fully incorporate this into the classroom setting. So, it's time to work. How can you think of ways to create opportunities for students to collaborate in your classroom? Collaboration is an important element of the 21st century skill, and it's what businesses want our students to be able to do when they come into the workforce. For more information, you can visit our site at sites.google.com/a/coalcityschools.org/collaboration wiki.